In video 1, we talk about what happens when you type a URL into your browser. So we talk about the DNS lookup, the TCP and check, and the full journey. That's in the last 4 videos that you must have seen under how the internet works. So today we are going deeper. We are going to deeper into the HTTP method. That's a get, the post, the put, the patch. And why does this thing exist? We are going to see the status code and its family. What does it mean? Which specific one are you going to see constantly? And we are going to see the headers, right? We are going to see some essential headers, and we are going to have a quick demo. So now, and you see that this is the vocabulary of backend development. If you understand today's video, you will be able to look at an API and immediately understand what it's doing and why it is doing that. If you skip this, you will just be copying code without knowing how it works. So let's get into it. So what is HTTP method? An HTTP method, sometimes called a verb, is the first thing that your request tells the server. So before the URL now, before the headers, and before the data, the method tells the server what you want it to do. That's exactly what we are saying here. The method is the first thing that was told to the server. What do you want me to do? So we have 5 methods: get, post, put, patch, and delete. So the method is first of all going to tell the server what you want it to do. So you can go and tell the server, I want you to pick up a box, and that is different from I want you to drop off a box, which is also different from I want you to replace the content in a box, which is also different from I want you to throw away a box. So we see here now, pick up a box is our get method, drop a box is our post method, put or patch can be replace the content of this box, while delete is throw away that box, right? So these are the 5 methods you will constantly say, and you need to master these 5 methods if you want to have a good idea of them. So what do we call get method? So get method retrieve information. It does not change anything. This is the most common method that you will see on web programming. So whether you open a web, you are trying to load an image, you are trying to fetch an API, you are trying to fetch some data, get request is what you are going to use. So get says something like give me something, don't change anything, just retrieve. Just give me what I want, what I'm asking for, don't change anything. First of all, get is safe. That means making a get request has no side effect. The server data doesn't change, and you can run it 100 times and the state of the system is going to stay exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. And the second thing is idempotent, which means same request. That means calling it once gives you the same result as of you calling it 10 times. So same result, same request, same result every single time. That's exactly what you're going to get. So same request, same outcome every time. Then you don't need a request body when you're sending a get request. So get request carry all the information in the URL. That's what it's going to have. So you want to have some params, you want to have some query, it's going to go in the URL. So the data travel in the URL as part of the params or query strings. You don't need a request body. So you use it to get, you use get to fetch a user profile, to load a product list, or to retrieve an order by ID. That's what you use get request to do. And now let's look at post request. When we say post request, so the first thing you should know that, now post request creates something new. Post says, here's some data, make something with it. Unlike get, post has the body. That's another thing you should know, that you know that in our get request it does not have a body, but post requests have a body. Then that's where the data that you want to create something new with, which can be the user's data, the product data, or a new message. That's where the message is going to be. So it's carry the data now. So the post request carry the data, and post request is not safe because it changes the state of the server, which means it adds something new to the server. So it does not change. And it is not idempotent, which means calling it twice will create 2 products, or we add 2 things to the database, not 1. Calling it twice, we add 2 things to the database and not just 1. So you should have that. So the distinction matters more than it sounds. So if you click if you double click the button that send a post request now, you are using post request correctly, your backend should create 2 orders. If you don't want this, you will undo it with idempotency key on your side. But the protocol itself is honest about what the post data does. When you click it twice and it creates 2 data itself. So as I said earlier, you use data to like create a new account, submit a form, or place an order to a file. So let's take a look at put request. So properties now. So put request is not safe, which means it does change something on the server side. So I know exactly what should be at this location, replace it completely. That's what put request does. So now let's say you have a user profile now. I just want to change the bio on the user. So put request is going to be like, okay, this bio is wrong. I want this to be there. So put request is idempotent, which means if you call it once or 10 times, the result is still the same thing, because you are defining the complete final state of the product, of the data, of the information in database. Put always get a specific resource. You are not saying update something. You are saying this specific thing should not look exactly like this. So if you send a put and only include some field, the put you didn't send get wiped out. Let me repeat that. If you send a put and only include some fields, the fields you didn't send get wiped out. Put define the complete state of what you want the database or the data in the database to look like. That's it. So use put now to replace the entire user profile and to set configuration completely. So that means if I want to change the bio of a user data, I'm not going to send only bio. I have to send the username, I have to send the email, and every data that I collected on that user needs to be sent. Even if everything is still the same thing and it's only the bio I am changing, I have to send everything, because put is going to replace every details of that user with what I am sending. So if I skip sending a username, it's going to wipe it out and set it as known. Then we see something similar to this put request next, which is a patch request. So now patch, the only distinction between put and patch is that put sends for all fields, but patch sends for only what you want to change. So this is where most developers get confused. So now put is going to send for an entire resource, but patch send is going to be different. I said earlier, now if I want to change a bio now, I have to send everything, but in patch I can only send just the bio that I'm changing. So if you have a user now with an object of 20 fields and you want to update their email address, patch is what you want, because patch you can just tell patch that it's really email address I'm updating, then the other 18 field is going to stay untouched. But on the other side now, if you are using put now, you have to send the full 20 fields. So another thing is patch is not guaranteed to be idempotent, though in practice most implementation treat it as idempotent. The specs also allow for non-idempotent patches like incrementing a value by 1. So if you're incrementing a value by 1, if you are sending it multiple times, you are going to be getting an increase. So use patch to like update an email, to check a product, to change a product price, and to toggle a setting. Then we have delete, and what delete does is, this is something very interesting. So delete removes something entirely. So delete is idempotent. It deletes something once or 5 times, it is still gone. The information you're trying to delete is still gone. So it does not change more than once on the database on where it is stored. So most delete endpoint now either return 204, which is no content, or 200 okay for a confirmation body. Some return 404 not found if the resource is already gone. Some return 204 even then. So your API now should document what it does entirely like that. So common responses, as I said earlier, now 204, 200, 404 if already gone in that sense. So this is what delete does. Delete just say that, okay, I don't want this user to exist again. I don't want this user account to exist again. So I want to delete this user's account. That's what delete does. So these are the method now at a glance now. You can just see here now we have the get, it read, we have the post, it create, we have the put, it replace, we have the patch, it update, and we have the delete, which just what the name says, delete. And the only saved method here is the get method, and the idempotent ones are just the get, the put, and the delete, then occasionally the patch. Post is not idempotent. Then get does not have a body, delete does not have a body, but these other three have a body. So safe means it has no side effects. Idempotent means same result no matter how many times you call that same endpoint.